Welcome back to the series of sessions on advanced concrete technology. We were discussing module 1 aggregates. Today we will discuss lecture 4 production of artificial aggregates. In the previous lectures we have discussed the review of type of aggregates, sampling and testing of aggregates, effects of aggregates on properties of concrete, and we are moving on to production of artificial aggregates. River sand is the most commonly used fine aggregate. Overdredging of fine aggregates from the river basins threatens the environmental conditions in that area and hence it needs to be avoided. But the growing construction industry is in need of different types of aggregates and hence researchers have to carry out extensive work to find alternative materials for the aggregates. Now let us see the comparison between natural and artificial aggregates. Comparing the processes, river sand is naturally available and it does not need any processing, whereas M sand or manufactured sand is produced at the factories. Considering the shape of the aggregates, river sand is having a smooth texture as it is formed by the rolling of aggregates in river water for a long distance. As we have already discussed, smooth textured aggregates have an inherent property of increased workability, which will in turn reduce the requirement of cement water paste and hence it reduces the water demand in concrete. It will definitely improve the strength characteristics of concrete. When we are considering M sand, it undergoes a lot of processes in the factories while it is manufactured. As a result, we get angular or rough textured aggregates. These aggregates require more amount of water for a better workability, which will in turn may influence the strength characteristics of concrete. Considering the moisture content, saturated surface dry condition is most preferred to be used in concrete mixtures. When we are considering a river sand, it is always trapping a certain amount of water particles in between it and which will make it in a saturated surface dry condition and hence it is good for concrete purposes. Whereas in case of M sand, which is manufactured in factories, will be undergoing lot of processes and as a result of which it will become more dry than the river sand. Hence, we have to make it saturated surface dry condition before it is to be used for concreting. Considering the strength aspect of concrete, river sand being rounded in shape, it will be having a smooth texture also and hence the bonding property of the river sand with the adjacent aggregates as well as with the cement paste will be less and which will in turn lead to a lesser hardened property or the compressive strength. Whereas M sand, which is manufactured at the factories, will be having an angular texture which will improve the interlocking property with the adjacent aggregates and which will in turn improve the compressive strength of concrete. Considering the aspect of silt content, river sand will be containing more silt content than in M sand because it is created during a natural process and we have to expect up to a 20% of silt content in the natural sand depending upon the site from which it is obtained. Up to a 3% of silt content is permitted in concreting. Even if it is going beyond 3%, it is generally not preferred to be having more silt content in concrete since more silt content means there is a possibility that it contains more organic matters which will in turn reduce the strength of concrete. When we are considering M sand, since it is manufactured under controlled environment, only the graded aggregate will be produced and it will be transferred to the sites. Hence, we can expect a better quality aggregates from the manufacturers of M sand. Discussing the aspect of oversized aggregates, river sand will be having 1 to 6% of minimum oversized aggregates and it is not generally preferred in concreting because in concreting we are always expecting a properly graded aggregate as per the IS code specifications. When we are considering M sand, it is, as we have discussed, it is manufactured under controlled environment and it is sieved properly before it is dispatched to the site. Hence, we can expect least amount of oversized materials in M sand. There is a possibility of presence of marine products in river sand, and it is observed that around 1 to 2% of materials like seashells, tree barks, etc. are present in river sand, which will later deteriorate and influence the or negatively affect the strength of concrete mix. They are not preferred. But when we are considering M sand, the presence of such materials are found to be very little or minimal. Considering the environmental aspects, dredging of river sand at larger quantities may be harmful to the environment. It may cause ecological imbalance such as reduction in the groundwater level or drying up of rivers, etc. Hence, it is always preferred to use M sand, which is manufactured under controlled environment and under the regulations of the authorities. Nowadays, it is observed that the price of M sand is much lesser than that of river sand. River sand is actually dredged and transported from the sites, and it could be around 60 to 80 per cubic feet in South India. It will be varying time to time. Whereas in case of M sand, since the production and the distribution of such a system is widely available nowadays, the price of M sand has been reduced to around 35 to 45 rupees per cubic feet in South India. It may also vary, however, the larger the production, lesser will be the cost of production as well as the transportation. It is observed that river sand is more adulterated than M sand because nowadays the availability of river sand is less, and which in turn led to the usage of more silt contented river sand or mixing good quality river sand with the sand with silt contents, and which is not preferred in concreting. When we are considering M sand, the manufacturing systems are largely set up and is available. Hence, there is no need for adulterations in M sand. Hence, it makes us feasible to provide good quality M sand in the construction sites. River sand is conventionally used for all the different types of concreting such as RCC structures, brick walls, plastering, etc. Whereas M sand is generally preferred for RCC work and brickwork. For plastering nowadays, a special type of M sand is available which is having a smaller particle size. It is always difficult to ensure the quality of river sand since it is naturally occurring. Even if we are taking the river sand from the same river, its quality will be different depending upon the location from which it is obtained. Whereas in case of M sand, it is manufactured under better quality controlled environment, and hence its quality is ensured and is preferred for the concreting. In river sand, only up to 3% of smaller size particles, that is, particles passing through 75 micron, is allowed because smaller sized particles in river sand indicates the presence of organic matters which will in turn influence the compressive strength of concrete. Whereas in case of M sand, up to 15% of smaller sized particles passing through 75 micron sieve is allowed because the presence of organic matters in M sand will be minimum, and the presence of small size particles in M sand will not negatively influence the compressive strength of concrete. Based on the properties of aggregates that we have discussed, it is very much clear that artificial aggregates are preferred over the natural aggregates. Artificial aggregates helps in preserving the environment and preventing the depletion of natural resources, and also it makes it feasible for the usage of waste materials or the byproducts of industries for concreting. As we have said, waste materials from the industries can be used for manufacturing artificial aggregates. Many times what happens is the waste materials available are very fine powder, and hence it will not be acceptable as per the IS code provisions. We can have agglomeration techniques for making these finer powders into the grading zone as suggested in IS codes. There are many different other methods available for the manufacture of artificial aggregates such as sintering, autoclaving, cold bonding, etc. Mainly the lightweight aggregates are manufactured using these procedures. In sintering process, we are using fly ash with high carbon content, and in other processes, we are using low carbon fly ashes. First of all, let us consider sintering method. It is a heat treatment process in which large quantities of loose aggregate material is subjected to sufficiently high temperature and pressure to cause loose materials to become compact solid pieces. The temperature and pressure that we are applying is such that it is slightly less than the melting point of the material, as a result of which the strength and integrity of the material get improved. The porous space between the material particles are minimized during this high temperature and pressure. Sintering is a high energy method which produces aggregates with good engineering properties. There is a two-step thermal treatment procedure of fly ash in which initially the material is treated with 750 degrees Celsius for 10 to 15 minutes, and in the second expansion step the temperature is increased up to 1175 degrees Celsius for 10 to 15 minutes. In this two-step high heat treatment, commercial lightweight aggregates are produced. Fly ash is a solid mineral residual that is obtained as a byproduct from heat power plants, which is obtained due to the combustion of coal. Utilization of this largely produced fly ash is considered to be advantageous in the environmental and economical aspects. Autoclaving is another method for the manufacture of artificial aggregates. In autoclaving process, the source material is mixed with the chemicals such as cement and lime or gypsum during the agglomeration stage. After that, the sample is exposed to a temperature of 1400 degrees Celsius for several hours, and thus the lightweight autoclaved aggregates are formed. In cold bonding method, porous spherical lightweight aggregates are manufactured from powdery materials and binder materials. Cold bonded lightweight aggregate production is a very simpler and less energy consuming method. During the cold bonding process, quarry dust, fly ash and cement are first dry mixed in pelletizer, and then water is sprayed when this material is in tilted rotating drum. Thus we get good quality lightweight porous spherical aggregates. In today's lecture, we have discussed what are artificial aggregates. We have also discussed about the comparison between artificial and natural aggregates. From the discussion, it was clear that artificial aggregates are much better than natural aggregates in terms of the compressive strength that is imparting to the concrete mix, as well as the environmental impact. We have also discussed the various production methods of artificial aggregates, particularly the artificial lightweight aggregates. The methods we have discussed are sintering, autoclaving and cold bonding. In the previous lectures, we have discussed mainly about aggregates. We have discussed the classification of aggregates, sampling and testing methods of aggregates, then the effects of aggregates on properties of concrete, and finally in this session we have discussed what are artificial aggregates and the various production methods of artificial aggregates. In the coming sessions, we will be discussing more about cements.